Thank you, everyone. This is the Enforcement Intervention Committee. My name is Imelda Ceja-Betquist. I am the chair. And this is item number 9.3. This is information only, enforcement, intervention, and investigation updates.
Before we dive in on the committee meeting, can we just do a quick roll call for this committee? I know everybody's here, but just for sake of formality, since it is technically a new meeting.
Okay, thank you. Let me do roll call. Imelda Ceja-Betquist, chair. I am here. I believe we have Tricia Wayne is our new member to this committee. Next, I believe is, what's that? Mary Fagan.
It's Mary Fagan.
Vice President Mary Fagan.
I'm here.
Yeah. Am I missing anyone else? Betty Woods. Thank you, Betty. Thank you. I was kind of thrown off. I asked to maybe go ahead, and I wasn't really prepared to just jump in. So sorry about that. So moving along to item 9.3. Do we have Shannon Johnson?
Yep, I am here. I just got unmuted. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I am Shannon Johnson. I am the Enforcement Division Chief, and I will be covering 9.3, which is an overview of the enforcement program intervention. And
Shannon, Shannon, real quick, this is Lori. I am not sure that we've done agenda item 9.1 or 9.2.
Oh, that's right, Imelda.
We didn't, sorry. So 9.1, public comment or for items not on the agenda, items for future agendas. Moderator, Mark, would you please open it up to the public?
We're opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Ceja-Betquist, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Please, Mark, thank you. Next, item 9.2, review and vote on whether to approve previous meeting minutes dated October 7th, 2021. I would like to make that motion. If no one else is stepping up, I will make the motion to approve the minutes dated October 7th, 2021. It has 2022 on the agenda, but it's 2021.
Motion.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, there. We have to open it again for public comment. Mark, please.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comment. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Seha Buckowitz, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Please, thank you. So we have a motion, a first and a second. I'm going to do roll call. Motion to approve the minutes. Mary Fagan,
Mary Fagan, yes.
Elizabeth Woods,
Woods, yes.
Tricia Wayne, thank you, and Imelda Seha Buckowitz votes yes to approve. Motion pass. Moving along to item 9.3. This is informational only, enforcement updates. With Shannon Johnson, thank you.
Everybody. Good morning. I'm Shannon Johnson, the Enforcement Division Chief, and I will be here to answer any questions on 9.3. A couple items I just want to point out with this agenda item. You may have noticed before we had a 9.3.1, which was an overview of investigations. And in this agenda item, we have incorporated investigations into this. So now we just have the one agenda item summary. So I wanted to point that out. Another item that you might have seen when reviewing your materials for this committee is we did change the data that was being reported. It was requested that we add a few additional items. So Table D in your materials is a fiscal year to date of all of the milestones of a case within enforcement and the investigations unit. I just want to point out that one of the items we had talked about in the past is the 540 days for enforcement to complete a case from beginning to final disposition. As of, I think it was December, our 540 days total processing time, we had 86% of our cases were below the 540 days. So that's a huge improvement from the last reporting time. I believe we were at about 55%. We did also add some graphs based on some information in Table D to just point out a few areas like complaints received, and that's broken out by the different types of complaints, applicants, convictions, and then all other public complaints. We added also the graph on how many decisions we've adopted fiscal year to date and the number of investigation cases that we currently have pending between BRN and DFI. Table E is specifically based on performance measure 4, which is what DCA tracks. And this gives you a monthly breakout of the BRN and the case volume that we've taken in, how many days we have taken to process that case in-house with our complaint intake unit. Then you'll see the next column is the investigation timeframe. I do want to point out that this column does include both DFI investigation and BRN investigation. It's not separated out. Then you have the pre-AG time, which is again in-house BRN time, where we're taking that investigation, processing it, and prior to referral to the AG's office. Next, you have the post-AG time. That time is from the time we refer the case to the Attorney General's office to final disposition. And so that means that it includes all of the AG time. It includes our legal desk processing time and board vote time. So average total time you'll see in that last column. That kind of breaks out a little bit for you where the time is being taken on our cases. So you can see that. And then in Table F, we included this. You can also find this on DCA's website under their data tab. And this shows all of the healing arts boards for a 12-month period of time based on that performance measure 4 again. And you can see, so all of the ones in red are all of the healing arts boards that are not meeting the 540-day mark. And there are 3 boards that are meeting the 540-day mark, or excuse me, maybe it's just two, Behavioral Sciences and Respiratory Care Board. So out of these, I've highlighted Board of Registered Nursing because 2 points I would like to make on this is that the Board of Registered Nursing has the highest caseload of all the healing arts boards. by a couple hundred. We are the third lowest in processing timeframes. So I just wanted to point that out within this agenda item summary. And then if you have any questions, both myself and Scarlett Treviso, who is the investigations deputy chief, are both available if you guys have any questions.
Much for preparing the data this way. It's so much easier for me to really grasp it with the graphs and additional tables. And applause for the great accomplishment of being with the highest number of cases to have our numbers as good as they are. I would love to figure out what's happening in the respiratory care board. I know they don't have very many cases, but if there's anything that they are doing that's leading to their success of getting down to 435 days, that we could, in any best practices that we could adopt, I think that would be really important to know.
Yeah, we're all reaching out to the other sister boards, the healing arts boards, to try and find best practices. And so we continue to do that to see where we can make efficiencies.
Thank you. I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Shannon. This is a very interesting presentation, and I do very much appreciate the graphs too. Are there one or two things or factors that really drive the delays in some of these cases? Or is every case just completely unique and, there's
Well,
kind of no way to address it systematically?
there are a handful. So when you look at the investigations piece, which obviously is a large amount of time, there are factors within the investigation. It's not just solely based on who the investigative unit is, whether it be DFI or BRN. We have challenges in obtaining documents. We have facilities that take a very long time to get us medical records and all of the evidence that we need to complete a case, and so that's a big one of our big hurdles. And we don't really have any teeth to obtaining those documents. Some other boards do have some regulation that allows them to maybe cite a facility if they're not complying with an investigation. BRN currently does not have that in place. So that is a hurdle. I do want to say, though, that DFI has had a large time frame in the recent past. They have also, their time frames have been decreasing as well. And then the other large chunk of time is the Attorney General's office, and they were for a while at about 400 days or maybe a little over to complete a case. They've also decreased quite a bit. I want to say, last I checked, I think it was almost 100 days. So we are getting better, and we're still trying to find ways to improve our timeframes. In fact, right now we have OIO in our office right now. They're doing mapping of our enforcement units, and OIO is the Office of Organizational Improvement. So we have asked them to come in and take a look at our processes from time a complaint comes in until we have a final disposition, because we as a board also want to find on our own efficiencies within our own units. So we're doing that as well, but those are a few of the hurdles right now. And COVID, with the courts closing down, that hasn't helped our conviction cases that we get by query, by the rap sheets coming in. So we are struggling a little bit with the courts. They're starting to reopen. However, the cases that we were waiting on conviction documents have been delayed. So you may see a fluctuation in our numbers, because PM4, that performance measure 4 that DCA reports, is based on closed cases. So the cases that are aging right now are really going to come to fruition on the reports once they have a final disposition on them.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
You're welcome.
And you said that some other boards have legislative laws that mandate some of these challenges that we face regarding getting the documents or medical records. Is there, I think that we need to look into maybe something like that, legislative law that they are mandated to give us those documents. We can't afford for nurses to be practicing and holding off before we hear the cases. We need to expedite these. In my opinion, this is like criminal trial, criminal proceedings. You know, it has to be the fast track. And if it requires us to write a specific legislative law to mandate them to give us the documents, I really seriously think that we need to look at that. So if you can maybe explore what the other boards are doing to mandate this request.
Yeah, this is something we've been looking into for quite a while now, and I don't know if Scarlett wants to speak a little bit more on that, but it is an area that we have been trying to pursue.
Yes, Shannon is correct. We are actively, and I'm sure that Lori can also speak to this. There is, we've been looking into this for a couple of years now, and I think one of the other board members mentioned Respiratory Care Board, and they do have some significant, stronger laws that do require facilities to produce records. So BRN has been looking at different other healthcare boards and their regulatory enforcement capabilities to mimic those, so that we can hopefully move a little bit closer to being able to get our records in a more efficient and timely manner, because that is probably the biggest holdup that our current investigators have is getting records. So it is frontline on our radar to see what we can do about it.
Scarlett, can you please report back at the next committee meeting? I would really like,
Absolutely.
follow up on this. I think it's critical. So if you can please report a report at our next committee as to the status where we're at. You've been looking at this for 2 years. I think 2 years is a long time. We should have something in place by now. Thank you.
Imelda, this is Lori. I'll jump in with Scarlett and Shannon here and just give you an update on that. We did put into our sunset report the request for peace officer status. That was something that went into our sunset report as well back in, I believe, 2010. That actually required the board to be temporarily sunset. But we did go ahead and put that into our sunset report a year ago. Additionally, that has gone back into our sunset report for this new sunset period. In addition to that, we are working with DCA, and what DCA is looking at is a global MOU that allows for record sharing between the boards and bureaus. I did hear that that was moving, but we have not got a status update on that as of right now. When you're looking at legislation to add jurisdiction over healthcare facilities to mandate records, that is something that the BRN has not been able to obtain. Currently, BRN's only jurisdiction is over their licensees and the people who educate, both the continuing education providers as well as the academic institutions who will prepare the nursing students to become nurses. That is the only jurisdiction that our board has. So to add in any jurisdiction over healthcare facilities, that would be quite the feat. Currently, that jurisdiction lies within California Department of Public Health and does not lie within the Board of Registered Nursing. Additionally, we have put forth some regulatory changes. For example, 16 CCR 1427, which requires clinical facility reporting. That was posed and ready to go to the Office of Administrative Law. However, we did receive comment on that, had to pull back that package, and we'll have to address those comments. The majority of the objection that came from that on one of the sections in 1427 was that from California Hospital Association, which mentioned that they did not want the BRN to have the jurisdiction over the healthcare facilities. So I don't know that this is something that is going to be solved by the next committee or even the next board meeting. This is ongoing and it has been quite the feat, and I'm not confident of what the outcome will be, as jurisdiction does lie within another state department and not within the BRN. And so we have decided to kind of go on alternative process, which would be the peace officer status. And Scarlett, you can update on that as why that request would be of benefit and why we've put it into all 3 sunset reports, and moving forward with that ask through legislative assistance.
Sure, it's actually it's public officer status under 830.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. It's 830.11. It allows staff to have better access to records under various law enforcement requirements without being a peace officer. And it would allow some access to records, not so much through facilities, but through other law enforcement connections like police reports and things like that. So it's a step in the right direction, but it's not going to get us full access to facility records. So it's just one step forward in our process to get these records. As Lori said, it's a big ask to change the legislation to get the records from facilities. Right now, our only way of doing things is through subpoenas, and then some facilities, take time and don't comply, and then we have to go through the AG's office, which is a costly adventure. So this public officer is the first step towards this. Other agencies have it within DCA. Their special investigators have it, and it is a fabulous resource to obtain records. So I think we're starting in the right direction.
So can we talk to CDPH? Have that conversation with them? Maybe if we're having such a difficult time, maybe we can talk to them about the possibility. Also, I think Shannon said that other boards, I don't know if it was the Respiratory Care Board and the Board of Behavioral Sciences, they have processes in place where they more easily can obtain those documents.
I think all avenues are currently being looked at this time to mimic language and try different things. So yes, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, all legislative options are on the table.
Okay, well, just keep us posted. Again, this is something that I don't think should fall by the wayside. We need to be kept appraised of what's going on. We just can't let it go.
Absolutely.
I think it's critical. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other board member comments, questions for Shannon or Scarlett? Okay, seeing none. Shannon, were you going to go over any of the rest of your report?
Within the materials, and unless you would like me to, I can.
I just had a question regarding the DOI BRN case prioritization pilot project. The pilot was review updated and signed for another contract through December 2022. Did that come before the
Yes.
board? I don't recall.
Did the MOU come before the board for vote? I don't believe that was something that needed board vote.
Even to review it, I know in the past when we first implemented this, it came before us, and then when we renewed it, it came before us again. I just don't recall seeing what, if any, changes were made.
There were no changes made to the contract. It was simply just extended 1 year. Therefore, there was no reason for it to go back in front of the board. We did get direction from you at the last committee meeting that said that you wanted that pilot extended. Therefore, that is what we did.
Thank you. I couldn't remember. Thank you for that. Okay, that was my only question. Does anybody have any other questions regarding the report? No other questions. Okay, I believe that that concludes 9.4.
Yes.
This is adjourned.
We
Thank
do
you so
need
much,
to
Shannon
open
and
it up to
Scarlett.
public comment.
Okay, Mark.
Imelda, we do need to open it up to public.
Yes, yes, Mark, please open it back up for public comment.
Public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Sneha Buckowitz, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Please, Mark. Thank you. Okay, moving along to 9.4. This committee meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.